close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll
But I think the takeaway for me is that EG need to get RTZ involved with the team rather than have the team play without RTZ.
And how much do they need to be targeting something like that in draft, or does it mostly come down to the way that we saw them building items and overall strategy in the game?
I think you can. I think because it's the way they play and individually, like play like RTZ, I think you want to stay away from those like super heavy split push heroes like AM. Yes, some teams can make it work, but I think you're better off putting him on the Terror Blade in the first stage. Maybe he's on the Jug. Get him something that is forced to be more active with the team.
What teams have we really seen made AM work? Like, out of curiosity, it's one of those heroes that I feel like every time we've seen it, like, go back to the beginning of the draft. It's like, yeah, this is a great AM game. And then I hear everybody while we're watching going, I don't know if I like what the AM's doing here. It seems like the strategy itself isn't working. Who's made AM work in the CQ Major?
I think Secret did in one game, but obviously it's Secret, so it's kind of hard to hard to say that the hero is super good. I mean, honestly, what's the win rate of the hero here? Probably like 20% or something?
Yeah, I was trying to look it up now, but
very low. And I really think it's mostly just... Okay, they go for the Terror Blade. Sorry, I was just looking at the draft.
Oh, we're gonna get a TB game.
Yeah, TB for VG Gaming. I'm pretty sure they also expected EG to pick it up first too if they don't. So yeah, that's a good pickup. But going back to the AM, I think it's just what David already said. Teams just play too safe when they pick the anti-mage. They always want to split push, get to late game. We all know TB, I mean, AM is not the strongest late gamer on the field at all. If a PA keeps up with you in farm, she will crush you. You have to make plays with AM around the map when you split push. You can't just relax.
Is that strategy a trap with AM? The strategy that looks like the most obvious one? Are we seeing teams when they do lock in the AM going for it and then falling into that trap and falling too far behind and losing before they can get to that win condition?
I mean, it's certainly a trap, but like, I mean, you just need to be like a super solid team to not fall into that trap. I think when Secret played, they played it super nice. They split pushed, and every time somebody defended against him, a teammate was there with a stun, and you kill that guy, and that just breaks the game open completely.
You're a bit of an AM spammer too, right?
Oh, I am an AM spammer.
Yeah, so this is going to be the most positive AM guy on the desk.
Oh, I love AM. I'm always going to defend AM, even though people always like to hate on him. Yeah. I can always see the positives.
Now, I do want to bring up with EG, we saw that OD be the first pick in game number 1. Now we're seeing it highly prioritized here. Gods, one of the things that you talked about with the OD was when we do see it early in the draft, it's almost like you're getting additional bans. It just knocks out so many different heroes. Do you think this is something that EG coming into today was just like, wait, OD early is just going to do way more work for us than any other pick.
Yeah, and it's such a go-to ban in the second stage that if they're not picking it first two, Vici Gaming will be banning it here in the second stage, fourth, fifth, every single time. So you get this OD, and it really shuts down Yang's hero pool specifically. He's that offlaner who loves to play those, you know, big, tanky, beefy heroes, and OD shreds them apart.
First pick 2, ripping that away from their opponents seems like a pretty solid move on the side of EG.
And Vici Gaming recognize, you know, this heroes like AM don't work for EG. They're targeting their bans on some of those more active carries that RTZ can play, like the Juggernaut, the PA.
Yeah, they might have to resort to something like an Arc Ward in this game.
10 seconds remaining.
Even that sounds like, again, that kind of hero that doesn't play with the team.
Yeah, it's very farmy for sure.
AM, by the way, 26% win rate in 15 games. Oof. So it's won like, what, 4 out of the 15, 3 out of the 15?
But to be fair, 0 of those games were on me, so...
There we go. Yeah. Get the AM spammer up on the main stage right now.
I don't know what people do. Yeah. Like, oh, our guy's sick. Black, can you come? I'm like, oh, sure. Don't worry about it. I'll play for 5 different teams.
Then I got to be here on the desk analyzing. Our team would fall apart.
Oh, yeah. The analysis is just Black picked anti-mates, they won. That's what
there we go. This is the AM.
But the matchup, of course, TB was picked up before the OD. It goes both ways. If you ever find the initiative on the TB, you can blow him up with the Sanity's Eclipse. But if a TB ever gets off a BKB with all these illusions, he will just shred the OD apart, especially if you have a Tusk next to it.
But I have to say, when we look at what Vici Gaming is doing in the bans, and God's already started to touch on it, it seems like they're putting RTZ in a corner here. The first hero that you mentioned, Black, is the same hero that God's mentioned as when he plays heroes like this and the anti-mage, he falls into this trap, into the strategy that didn't work for EG in game number 1. So how does EG break free from that? How do they mess up the plan of Vici to put RTZ on the back foot?
I don't know if he plays this hero, but I think like a 4th pick Timbersaw could be really good, depending on what Vici Gaming pick up. Like, that's the kind of hero I feel like other teams would pull out for their 1 position when there's like a TB on the other side.
What do you think about just first picking the Terrorblade for him? I think it's the best team hero you can get for a team like EG.
I think then at that point you're not getting OD, so it's like you got to choose which of those cores you're picking up in the first stage.
Because Tusk or Earthbridge, you're gonna get one of them either way. So if you really want that TB, you could have had it. You really wanted it.
Yeah.
But obviously they prioritized the OD a bit higher than the Terrorblade.
And I'm sure they saw last game, and Earth Spirit looks higher value than Tusk as well.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Fate did a lot of work with his Earth Spirit for sure. Now the Phoenix.
Okay.
Not a terrible hero.
It's a fly classic. I think the concerns maybe with this hero is that it's not really a natural 5 position, even though fly makes it work there. It always feels a lot better when you can play it in that like 3 or 4 position and actually get some farm on it.
Yeah, I like it in a 3.5 position role the best. You can kind of transition from 4 to like somewhat core, and you just get like an Aghanim Scepter mid-late game, and the Supernovas are almost unkillable.
Yeah, as a hard 5 right now, like immediately I'm thinking their lanes are gonna suffer because of it. This is a very weak hero in the laning stage. You don't like versing tri-lanes. The meta we're seeing right now, I feel like, does not favor Phoenix that much as a 5 position, but what it does give you is this crazy good team fight.
Yeah, I'm most curious about what they're gonna pick for RTZ. I think the Arc Warden is super good against TB, obviously, but it's not great in the meta, especially with an OD. We'll see.
Obviously, we have plenty more draft to go here on the side of EG, but are they going down the same route that they did before? When I saw the Phoenix, the first thing that I think of from every conversation that I have with you guys is exactly what God said. That's going to be scary in the laning phase, but it's going to have that potential in team fights. We talk about the last game, the fact that they're going for that late game. Are they doing that again?
They might. They might also just pick a Faceless Void. They wanted to.
For EG?
Yeah, does RTZ play that?
Imagine so. I hear that Secret's still playing a lot of that. Seems good. That RTZ is going to just Morphling. I'm surprised Morphling hasn't been coming out a bit more.
Shadow Shaman. I like that pick a lot.
Yes.
And it looks like an off. No, it looks like a position 4 Shaman.
Shadow Shaman has farmed in this tournament too. 7 picks, 100% win rate.
Yeah. I would love to have the Shadow Shaman as off lane in a position 5.
Dazzle 5?
Yeah, I don't want to see the 5 Shadow Shaman. I think... You need items on a hero. You need Avalanche, you need Blink. You need to scale at some point. And position 5 Shadow Shaman won't do that. Maybe Tusk 5, Shadow Shaman 4, I can also accept that, but not Shadow Shaman 5.
Either, whether, Dazzle Shaman is 3, 5 position, however they do it, they're very clearly picking these 3 positions that don't get destroyed by OD. That seems the Vici Gaming approach. Okay, you're going to pick OD, Yang is going to play a Dazzle in game 1. Now he's maybe playing a Shadow Shaman. They're not giving OD these heroes to get the free Arcane Orb intelligence from.
Yeah.
So they very much, after seeing that OD early last time around, they kind of got to
do go the Arc Warden, yeah.
It's bad.
As expected. I think we already called it after like the second pick.
It was like, well, I mean, this is EG sticking with what works for them, but it does feel like it works for them to a certain extent. But when they start versing those teams who are playing like the really top level Dota, you can't play this 4-1 split style.
I mean, it's not a bad lineup at all. Like you can empower the OD quite a bit with the bubble, and laning stage shouldn't be too terrible.
That can even help it, yeah. Against the TB Metamorph, you can get your OD in the bubble. That makes him a lot harder to kill.
Though I say that, if they do somehow get the TB versus Arc Warden lane matchup, this Arc Warden is going to suffer. You're the worst hero against TB in the whole game. Literally, your entire skill kit is just useless. Your Ghosts don't do anything, your Spark Raves, and your Flux doesn't do anything, just simply because of the Conjure image.
Once again, it's the offlane is being picked up. Oh no, it's offlane for one team, and then the mid, I imagine, for Vici picked up last.
I like the Vici approach a lot, that they don't go this like super tanky offlaner simply because they already have the OD. Yeah. There's no need to force something bad.
Tide would be very good against like the Shaman disables. The Kraken this game has a lot of value. Damage mitigation against the TB.
Yeah.
Whereas a hero like Beastmaster, who I feel like can just struggle in lane against Poison Touch, against the Shaman, against Tusk ganks. Like, it's just so much more exposed in the laning stage.
And we look on the side of EG. Now that we've seen this come through, we already talked about how this does fall in that same pattern that we've already been really focusing on in our first series. How do they round out the rest of their lineup? Is there anything in particular, Black, that they need to do?
I mean, just Beastmaster again, honestly. It's like the best pick I can see for them.
Even after having a Beastmaster go 0-9-2?
It's just like the best hero for the game, in my opinion. Is there anything else? Like Centaur is banned, Tiny's banned, Titan's banned, Underlord maybe? Timbersaw.
Yeah, that was a hero I thought Arteezy would maybe consider playing this game. But
it's so greedy, the 3 cores together.
Yeah, in a 3 position, this seems a bit greedy. As a 1 position, I thought this would be a fantastic fit for their draft, but it's EG Dota. This is a team that likes to get a bit greedy. It's a very good Timbersaw game. But
right now, it's all laning phase. If they lose the laning phase, they're going to lose this game.
And I guess you've got the OD. You ban out the Bat Rider, one of the heroes that has some of the better magic damage of dealing with Timbersaw. So we'll see what Vici Gaming get to address this.
I mean, they like what do they like? SF, they like Puck,
Tinker.
They like
they're not really a Tinker team. Ori's never been a big player of that. He was a big Lina player, yeah.
Lina doesn't strike me as very awesome.
We've seen what, one Lina, or do we see 2 Linas so far in the tournament?
Not many.
I think we've seen 2 games. I think it won both.
I think it's they're doing mid Dazzle.
Mid Shaman, mid Dazzle.
I don't know. You tell me. Probably the mid Dazzle. I think Shaman is in a 2 position role. Mid is a bit questionable.
Secret did it. Not this tournament, but
yeah.
And they lost.
They've also done a lot of weird mids.
Yeah, and then they lose
done
usually.
Mid Phoenix and they did mid Dazzle like a year ago and
they lost that too.
Yeah.
That's usually what they do. They win 1 game, then they try something really crazy. Oh, we lost. Let's go back stand, and we win again.
Well, let's talk about these 2 teams going head-to-head right now. Already, we do know VG going to be leading by 1. Now that we've seen the draft, instantly you said laning phase. That's all the pressure. Now that we see all 5 of the heroes for each side, do you stand by that?
Yeah, I mean, I think EG can make it work, though. They have 3 lanes that could, in theory, win. So if they win their lanes, I think they're in a very great position to take this game.
But again, they don't have that big good playmaker, so they need to do well in their lanes. And then even if they have a good lane stage, if they're not that far ahead, they're going to just keep farming. Like we saw last game, Timber's going to go up to 1 lane. OD's can't really make plays on his own. They've got Earth Spirit. I mean, Crit needs to be the guy making plays.
Earth Spirit's the only guy with an actual stun on the team.
Yeah.
Like, if he misses his roll, okay, I'm going to TP out. Bye.
Yep. They need Arc Warden to get like 4 or 5 big items. If EG winning this game, even if they have a good lane stage, is probably going to see a long late game.
Yeah, but EG needs to outplay a lot. To even get kills, I think it's going to be quite tough for them. But
if you're an NA fan, you're looking for EG to pull out all the stops here. You're potentially looking for a long game. Otherwise, EG and NA will no longer be in the CQ Major. Game 2 starts right now.
Wonderful thumbs up, Black. Is NA ever really out of a tournament? The second they get kicked out, they just adopt another team. That's normally the way it works, right?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, NA is everywhere.
Technically. I mean, there's a lot of players. If you played in NA, you always are NA. That's kind of the rule.
Yeah.
Unless you
okay,
lose.
well, Puppy was part of the Na'Vi team when they were adopted by NA at the early TIs because no NA taking the grand final, which makes him still NA, which means Team Secret. NA is actually in that winner's bracket still. But we look to the team Evil Geniuses. Can they pull it off? We're going to get serious now. The draft is up. And we start to ask those questions. Does EG have what it takes to bring down this VG lineup? And what do you actually, one of them always focus you, what do you think more about the Beastmaster 5th pickup and the changes to VG's lanes because of it?
I actually think it's the other way. It's more, does Vici have the damage to kill EG, specifically this S4 Timbersaw? And this new meta where you have this guy that's just going to be this super tank, right?
Yeah.
It sounds really dumb, but either he survives or he doesn't. And if you get to a point as Vici,
I will admit, Kyle, that does sound very dumb.
You're gonna have like so much damage that S4 might just explode. Like you can't be sure. On paper, you're like, oh, this is like a great Timbersaw game. You counter pretty much everything on Vici. They don't have too much magic damage, but consider like the raw physical damage output when you get like Dazzle ult, Beastmaster, Solar Crest, and Aura, a Terrorblade with Meta and Manta, like tag team, wards. It's cool interaction. I'm not sure if tag team will boost the damage of the wards. I don't think it does, but it does increase the damage of minions. However, the buff says just any enemies attacked under tag team take bonus physical damage.
But you do have the other thing, which is...
never mind, I altered. Sorry, voice won't work.
It's the Artur factor. It's Arteezy coming in, potentially dropping the magnetic field. Now, obviously, Timbersaw's not going to play around one position, but VG will initiate with Raw, which puts the Timber in that one position. Yeah. Terrorblade will have a very hard time fighting through that field, and this is where I kind of feel a little bit better in the team fights for Evil Geniuses.
And I'm scared about S4, though, being alone in this bottom lane. I hope someone comes down to help him out, but...
I like how he TP'd to the tier 1 tower because they were zoning him out with the Shaman and Tuskar, two great control factors against the Timber, and S4 hasn't even skilled yet. He's actually holding his point, but he's got a great block off, and this is at least a safe place for him to be. While up on top lane is the aggro tri-lane with Fly on his signature Phoenix.
And, the mid matchup's a much better scenario for Ori as well. Dazzle versus OD should fare better than the Medusa. Bottom lane, great job by Vici though. They're landing the denies and they're pulling the lane back. They want to keep control and preferably just S4 level 1, level 2, he won't have the survivability to lane here. And I'm shocked EG is leaving him on this island. I'm scared for his game.
Actually didn't go for Shackle from Fade, but S4 went for Whirling Death, has already used it once. So they know there's no protection. Metamorphosis is available for the Terrorblade. So they can just try and zone S4 out. Obviously, 3 Mangos and Tangos is an easy way to survive.
Oh,
yeah, here they go. Control,
he didn't skill
him up, and S4 coming down as he skill up the reactive armor and got no life in for it.
I don't like this, Toby. S4, like, this is what I mean. Like, Timbersaw needs to have this great game so that he can be that frontliner, so that he can survive. Because if he's behind, he just feeds. Like, this hero needs to keep pace.
Shaman CP'd up towards the top lane, rolling bottle forward from Crit. Arteezy is not really involved in this apart from his Spark Race, but then again, they still do a lot of damage. Forcing Yang a little bit further out. The damage from Fade makes Fly pop up his south. Fade's trying to cancel it off, but he will not be able to get in range. While on bottom lane, they go again. Down towards S4, pushing him out. But this is when the Tuskar's harassment becomes a little weaker. Thanks to the Stout Shield that's now on S4, combining with those with the regeneration he's got. Reactive armor charges, but it's not going to stop him from pushing. Paparazzi's already burned Metamorphosis before.
Yeah, I like the Arc Warden pick. It's a traditional Terrorblade counter, but I've seen Paparazzi time and time again. Like, this is his hero. And after that Jug performance, I feel like he's ready to fall out. Yeah, he really does. And he's going to buy a Blink Dagger, and he's going to go straight into the bubble and just start killing everything. And this guy and this hero, I mean, outside of Ame, I don't know if there's a lot of good Terrorblades. I take that back. Can't disrespect Miracle. He's just not here.
Wow, too soon. Arteezy's having a good time for CS up on top. It's this bottom lane with S4. He's really getting harassed out of the lane. 4-1 CS against a 14-13. And remember, all those denies, it's not the experience, it's the money that Paparazzi is starting to build into. And a farmed up Terrorblade is a very intimidating thing. Mid lane's pretty even. It's 12-4 versus 12-8. S4.
S4?
Yeah, he's kind of in no man's land. You put on the reflect, S4, sharp locked up, he's going to go down. Even with the whirling death, damage can be returned while mid lane, Ori being ganked up, and Sumail with a double damage rune and the rotation in from the ES. They're able to get the kill onto Ori, and that's a good news for EG considering their bottom lane's going so poorly.
I'm scared. I am so scared after watching the game S4 play previously. Like, I wanted to see him get enabled. I hate when your offlaner is in a position like this where, like Timbersaw, he's all about his own game. He doesn't impact his teammates' performance. Like, he's not going to buy any aura items, so maybe a Crimson Guard, but...
Hey,
like,
you tell that to Ice.
True. Yeah, Beastmaster up top, like, not having the greatest game, but still 10 CS. Like, he's keeping pace with his own mid laner.
Yeah. At bottom lane, they're going to go again. Tag team up, S4, the second Tuskar comes back into the lane. They just beat to S4, no Timber Chain leveled up. He turns around, do as much damage as he can, understanding that death is there. But do you rotate? How long can Fly stand up on this top lane and try and keep the Beastmaster down? They at least get Yang to TP out, so maybe Fly can move and change the balance, the equilibrium of this bottom lane.
Oh, look at Crit.
Oh, perfect hex. Cancel the rolling boulder out. Tuskar wants to get involved as well. Crit is such a low cooldown. He wants to be denied up by the Dragons, but it won't happen. Fade with the haste rune is just so quick on the rotation, and they want to keep it going. They want to attack into Sumail, but there's no creep wave to do so.
The support duo of Vici is just so strong. Even at level 2, they offer so much damage output. 79 damage on the Shadow Shaman, and this is a level 2 tag team. Like, they're going to be able to kill anybody they find isolated in the jungle. They place a nice ward. They're just camping Sumail right now. They're going to push the wave in with Dazzle. He's in trouble.
TP's arriving. Crit's in the tree line. Of course, they didn't actually see him around the corner, so Crit can get a really good kick, slowing down DY underneath the tower. Sumail's already started off with Sandy's eclipsing, needs more support. Here comes Fly with the sprites, but Sumail's already dead. The supports need to get something more out of this, but they are. But it's the VG supports. Fade, hit by the sprite once again, wants to move back up. Yep. He won't burn out from this, and they're going to get an efficiency shrine. It only just came up, and all three heroes together, back to full.
This is the Phoenix, one of Fly's signature heroes, but a bit out of the meta just because it's low damage and weak in this initial laning phase. Once you hit 6, all of a sudden you do become a force, but the counter initiation, TP support, just you don't feel his presence just yet. Yep. And bottom lane, it's S4, you know, he gets a little bit of space, he's now level 4. He's doing all right.
Really, if this was the old ES, I would have felt like that counter gank in mid would have worked really, really well for EG, but this is the new one. You want a rolling boulder in, you get a kick, it's still only connected on one, and they're moving in once more.
Another offensive Astral, that means he's isolated.
Yep, Sumail, shots flying forward, Crit's nearby, so if they want to dive this, it will be dangerous for VG Gaming. So by doing so, they open up the runes. It's an arcane rune for Ori. But hey, one upside, S4 can now finally get farm on the bottom lane. But there may be a counter, which is Fly, having to jump away from Ori, not to mention the Hex, rolling boulder, coming in, Fly underneath the shrine, the kick in from Crit. They're catching up to Shadow Shaman, working with Sumail. The orb attacks won't be enough, so Fly's base damage will do the rest of it.
Pretty even game thus far. Lanes, like CS is near identical, just a few more kills going the way of Vici Gaming.
They want to kill off S4. They really want to make sure that this Timber has no effect. No Observer Ward in the lane. They realize with the Dire Observer Ward, there's no way for S4 to jump back out. He's got Timber Chain available, but the Shackles, the Hexes, the control factors, he can't even get through it. Stunned up with a short-range snowball, so the Timber Chain never even had any effect.
This is the Timber. This is the problem with Timber in this sort of game, where yeah, like you're tanky, you're huge, but that's your game.
Trouble for Crit. He's gonna be okay. Then again, there's a lot of bad juju. Onto the Earth Spirit, combining with the Poison Touch. He's dropping low. Sumail will buy him a little bit of time, imprison him up, and that will save his life.
Beta's gonna, or DY is gonna do a little hunting, but Crit wisely just gonna go all the way back to base. Tread's finished up on Sumail. Beastmaster's gonna have Roar quite soon, and then all of a sudden this Tusk Rasta have another lane they can go start playing in.
Fly wants to initiate up on top, but he's underneath a Beastmaster Hawk. He actually walked all the way over to put down an Observer Ward next to the Vici Gaming Shrine. Now, the jump in, DY, they knew he was there. The kick is nice from Crit, but once again, VG are able to get the kill. Roar is available, but doesn't want to commit it. They already got the core. And just the intimidation of Roar is going to stop that kind of counter gank coming in from EG.
Yeah, this Arc Warden, another relatively weak early game hero. This support duo of EG doesn't come online until they have their own wall.
X is out, Shackle's available, TP's coming in. Have they got enough? It's Arteezy to TP forward. And the Fade, lose your life. Samael able to combo up. He'll get both of these kills, and that was much needed for the mid of EG.
And not just that, that gives Arteezy a bit of assist gold. He's got a Midas in 30 gold. So yeah, he does go down, but he's free farming. This is a free farm Arc Warden. He's going to start accelerating like mad. And Paparazzi, once again, is in this position where this is just, he's going to be playing aggressive. And I love when TBs are active. And we saw that Jug game. Like, that's how Papa's going to play this.
But is this game a little different? Like, you talk about game one, Paparazzi getting a lot of this early farm. But Ori doesn't have something like a Deucer. This time around, he's playing the Dazzle. So you don't have this big tank to actually stand